Hey everyone, FPS Chasley here. Welcome back to Dangerous Waters, Red Storm Rising. Wrapping up Race of the Cripples here. I was thinking about doing this off screen, but I just never got to it. So we'll try and zip through this. Got the auto crew on. I'm just going to try and zip on out of here. It's still going to take a good while. Oh god, maybe I should have done this off screen. 8 hours to go. Now at a certain point we should get pretty far away from everything. Can kind of juice it up. But from last time, thanks to Genghis Tom, Striker045, Impolite Ling, and DDP65 for following. Yeah, this could be a little boring. Holy cripes. Did they really make it go to the edge of the ice pack? I really can't remember too much about my first time playing this. I just remember getting like depth bombed by a May. Shooting something down with the SAM at some point. Thankfully we didn't really have that much of a problem with that this time.
Come left to course 004. Helmi.
Hello, Emily. How's it going?
Steady on course 004.
Just kind of wrapping up this mission. Last time I had a hell of a frickin' fight with an Akula. Turns out it was mostly an own goal. I did not set my torpedoes deep enough, so it literally could not get down to sink the Akula. But we should be clear. Guy who digs holes, howdy doody. Yeah, this might take a little while. We got 7.5 hours game time to get to the edge of the ice pack here. I don't know that we need to get to the edge per se to beat this. But I will just keep cranking.
Do it.
Matty Conrad, hello.
Must be done. Lord Vader.
Thanks for re-upping as always, Mr. Matty Conrad. Been with us for a while and I've enjoyed all of it. Trenchgun, hello. Yutter, hello. Any thoughts on Australian nuclear subdeal? That's a good way for the US to try and re-establish some allies and more of an active role in the world, I think. It's pretty obvious that Australia needs nuke boats if they're going to do any kind of... if they want any kind of, like, outward reach. Some analyst shared some images on Twitter just showing, like if they just had diesel boats to get to, like, certain key, like, choke points in the Pacific Rim region, like, they would have, like, very few days on station once they got there for, like, fuel-wise. Nuclear boat just absolves, like, all those issues, and it can get places faster too. It's a curious situation though with anti-proliferation. Oh no, it wasn't Sutton, it was someone else. I'm not sure who it was. I think he was the originator of the... It would take me a while to try and find it. But it'll be interesting with the anti-proliferation stuff. Because the Proliferation Treaty says you're not allowed to give high-enriched fissile material to countries that don't have nuclear material or reactors or weapons or anything like that already, so... But all that stuff is like, yeah, you can just change it if you want. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get an exception or try and, like, redo that deal. Because that's the reason the U.S. doesn't reprocess fuel at the moment, because of anti-proliferation from the Carter administration. Because reprocessing is literally how you can get plutonium to make a bomb. Even though it also makes a more economical nuclear fuel cycle and less wasteful. Did someone say it's not going to be HEU? Because HEU is used for a reason. You get that extreme power density, and you can go for a long time without refueling. High enriched uranium, that is, if anyone's not familiar with the jargon.
Come right to course. 3, 2, Helmi.
Australia's reactor is not HEU. Oh yeah, no, I don't think any of all
1, 3,
power
2.
reactors are high enriched uranium. At least all the major power reactors from the US are all 5% enriched or lower. Because the power reactors are just enormous, so you don't need a high enrichment. High enrichment is a lot more expensive, of course. Yeah, I forget the specifics of the anti-proliferation, if it's above like a certain enrichment or if it's any fissile material that is anything above natural uranium. Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about low enriched uranium. I just don't see that happening on a sub. The reactor would have to be so big to get the same refueling time, or you'd have to refuel so much more often. The power density is just so much lower. I mean, you could do something in between, but also known as intermediate enriched. But where was I about to go with that train of thought? I think that still would count as like a proliferation concern, so you might as well just go whole hog. Get the HEU. The input to output ratio of the reactor, do you mean the efficiency? Is there even like any, hold on. Where are people? Let's take a look at the narrowband here. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Master 14. Master 8. Oh, we're not even tracking Master 15. Yeah, drop it then.
I have a new contact. Bearing 2, 1, 4. Designated Sierra 8, 8.
Who just marked that? I had autocrew turned off. It was a weird one. Yeah, whatever. Alright, keep her cracking. Now, the efficiency has to do with the temperatures in the reactor, how hot you can get the coolant versus how cold it gets at the turbine. Or maybe the maybe after that, but hot side versus cold side determines maximum efficiency. High enriched uranium generally just means you can go a lot longer without refueling. If you can imagine the core with the control rods going through it, you just, as the core starts out, you have the control rods very far in, and then over time you just slowly pull the control rods out, like a really long time, to just like burn through the fuel in the stack. Whereas like I think with a power reactor, it might do that to a certain extent, but I think the rods are mostly out more or less. And it gets technical pretty quickly. But there'll be a lot of like neutron poisons in there to keep the flux down. We're quickly getting very jargony. But generally, you just use the high enriched uranium because you can get more power in a smaller place, and you can go longer without refueling. More fuel per unit mass. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a lot more. American power reactors are all enriched to a max of like 5% uranium-235. And naval reactors are all basically weapons grade. It's all like 93% or more. It's all in that neighborhood. Oh, let's not crash into an iceberg. That would be smart.
Make turns for 12 knots, maneuvering on.
It just slowly gets deeper as we're progressing here. Yeah, generally. One second. Okay. Oh, I should have paused it. Jeez. We good. Hello, Bob. The U.S. actually does not really have a capacity to dispose of used uranium. All the spent fuel from power station reactors just sits on site right now in spent fuel storage. Gigantic concrete things. A non-HEU nuclear weapons test. Yeah, it's possible. You're not going to get the same yield. I mean, you can only go so low in enrichment. We do, but we don't use it. Yeah. I'm not sure whether that place is actually... Yucca Mountain, that is. I'm not sure if that's actually verified for usage, but it's just politically not used or what. I don't know. It's all a cluster. For the tank armor and tank ammo, that isn't used uranium. That's depleted uranium, which is a byproduct from enriching uranium. It's just all the leftover uranium-238 that doesn't really do anything. The non-fissile isotope. Depleted uranium and quote-unquote used uranium, yes, they're two different things. Generally, you call used uranium spent fuel. Holy crap. And it's highly radioactive. Good old politics. Pander make politics happy. Breeder reactors, yeah, those are cool. You can actually make spent fuel less radioactive by, you would think it would be kind of counterintuitive, like all the fission products, like just hit them with more neutrons and you can Make them less radioactive. In addition to using different fuel types or reusing some other spent fuel. More or less, that's a very basic, or that's a very simplified explanation. Yeah, you can do uranium to plutonium, or you can do thorium to uranium, which is like the ultimate non-proliferation reactor, because uranium-233. I think it's really hard to separate, to isolate, and it has a much shorter half-life. Yeah, like a really short half-life. So, which means it's not good for a bomb, because it'll just, its efficacy will decay away on a more noticeable time scale. Maybe it might be something else. I think some other kind of isotope gets in there that's just not good for a bomb. Because the uranium-233 half-life is 160,000 years. That is negligible for the purposes of a bomb.
Come left to course. 3, 5, 0. Helmi.
Sierra 83. Oh wait, what is Sierra 83? Hold on a second here.
I'll head 1/3. Helmi.
That's a sub. No, it's not supposed to produce non-radioactive waste. It's just it makes its own fuel, so you don't have to reload it as often. And then uranium-233 does not make for a good nuclear bomb, so there's no proliferation concern. Thorium is another element like uranium. By itself, it's not useful, but if you hit it with a bunch of neutrons, you can make uranium-233, which is a different fissile isotope than uranium-235. And did we just skirt by CR-83 without taking a shot, getting shot at? Now I want to know what CR-83 is. I'm not going to go look just to find out. Am I using the TB-23? Yeah. Excuse me. Damn. No sign of a third frequency. Well, can't hear us. Keep cracking.
I'll head 2/3. Helmi.
Just getting the snapshot queued up if we need it. I don't plan to engage. Seems to be pretty far away, actually. It's pretty much actually out of range, so there you go. The long and short of it is the difference is the number of protons and neutrons. For some reason that I can't explain at the moment, only isotopes with odd numbers are the fissile ones. The fissile isotopes are plutonium-239, plutonium-241, uranium-233, and uranium-235. And fissile means you can split an atom with a neutron of any energy, which means it's the easiest to split. Something like uranium-238 is fissionable. You can split it, but the neutron needs some speed to it. So it's more difficult to split, but it can still split it. So uranium always has 92 protons. So the remainder of that number is the different numbers of neutrons. So uranium-232 would have 140 neutrons, 233, 141, 235, 143, if I'm doing this math correctly, just looking at it. So the number of neutrons is important. When you mine uranium, you mine natural uranium. It has all the isotopes of uranium are radioactive, so which means they all eventually will decay away into something not radioactive. So natural uranium is just what currently exists naturally on Earth from whatever star blew up billions of years ago to give us our uranium deposits. If you want more uranium-235, you have to refine it and send it through a bunch of centrifuges to spin it and separate the 235 from 238 isotopes. And enriching uranium is very expensive, so that's why more countries don't have nuclear bombs. One of the reasons. Very hard, very expensive to do. Oh shit, I did not have this on.
Con, sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 098. Designated Sierra 87.
Why is this not getting marked as a new track? It's peculiar. Natural uranium is actually like 0.71% uranium-235. It is radioactive, but uranium only gives off alpha particles, which can be shielded by your skin or a piece of paper. They're so big that if you're just standing near it, it's not going to do anything. Just don't touch it or get any inside you. That's when it gets bad. But if you're just standing near it, there's no risk. That's why tank crews can just like handle depleted uranium shells with no concern, as long as they got like gloves on. I'm sure it's sheathed or jacketed in something. Okay, who? Okay, this guy, Sierra 87. What's up with this son of a gun? Let's come this way.
Come left to course. 0.
Got a feeling this is the real one, even though I can't mark this one for whatever damn reason. I don't want to get rid of all my trackers. Mark. I think the game is bugging out. The miners won't get cancer as long as they have respirators on and aren't breathing it in. If they're breathing it in, that's when it gets really bad. Extra Marco, hello. Will you ever have a smartphone with a mini reactor? No, I doubt it. Yeah, and then the form that uranium is in when you enrich it, it turns into hydrofluoric acid if it touches water. So that's fun. RTG is plutonium-238. It's a strong beta emitter. Hydrofluoric acid is freaking terrifying. I think when it attacks your skin, it kills your nerves, so you don't even know that it's attacking your skin. Chlorine trifluorides, ClF3. We're quickly leaving my area of knowledge and entering Maddie Conrad's. Yeah, okay, this guy's the real one.
Con, sonar, I have a new contact. Bearing 101. Designated Sierra 84.
Elk tail dipping, 7500 kilohertz. That's really high frequency. He's not going to hear me. What's the difference between plutonium and uranium? Plutonium does not exist naturally on Earth. Its half-life is relatively short compared to the age of the solar system. So there was some when the solar system first formed, but it all decayed away to something else. So you have to make it in a reactor. The benefit of plutonium is that it has a much lower critical mass, so you don't need as much to get the same amount of bomb. So if anyone ever says enriched plutonium, that's not technically the right way to refer to it, because it doesn't... You only enrich something that exists naturally. So you just say it's like weapons grade or something. What did plutonium decay into? Oh, that's a good question. If you go to periodictable.com, that's a very good website. It'll show you like entire decay chains, like what everything goes to. And most things like uranium and plutonium and thorium all eventually just end up as some isotope of lead after however many billions of years or whatever. But I'm sure plutonium has to go through like 20 different decays before it gets to lead or something like that. And when I say plutonium, I mean that original atom, because of course when it decays, it changes into a different element. Did this guy just like come out of nowhere? Or is he part of? He's part of like that original Grisha group, that 2-pair that was running up earlier before. That's a good question. I mean, we're currently going the same speed. We're going to intersect at some point, so... What is the course of action here? Let's parallel them and just,
Come all ahead standard. How am I?
juice it up. Iceberg, bright ahead!
Steady on course. 0, 3, 2.
Or is it right ahead? I always say bright ahead, because I first saw Titanic when I was a child. Iceberg right ahead. Yes, plutonium something... I think one of the isotopes of plutonium has a tendency to spontaneously fission, which is bad for a bomb. But if you do like an implosion type where it's in a critically safe geometry, just sitting there, more or less fine. Until you have to implode it.
Come right to course. 0, 3. Steady on course. 0, 3.
Plutonium or implosion type, yeah. Little boy was uranium. That was the gun type. Long and slender. It's long and slender to house the gun. The big circular one, Fat Man, was the plutonium implosion type. Powder Toy. Is that like that website where you got all the different materials that you can kind of paint around? My computer science class back in high school, we used to mess with that all the time when we were done our work. Gun type is totally dead indeed, yes. If you want a book that explains all this really well, it's called The Making of the Atomic Bomb. Fantastic book. It's the subtitle should basically be History of Nuclear Physics up through the Manhattan Project. Oh, does the TB-23 wash out this much? Okay. Let's do 13 knots then.
Make turns for 13 knots, maneuvering aye.
Want to stay tactical, bro. Tactical bacon. Alright, how much of a lead do I want to get on this guy before cutting across? It's probably good to cut across now. Variable, hello. How's it going? Never-ending mission. Yeah. I should have finished this off camera. Excuse me, but here we are. The nuclear artillery shell was gun type. Interesting. Oh, that's weird. Is that like the ice sheet floating up and down on the iceberg, or the icebergs floating up and down? I don't know. Oh, nuclear post-war technical history? Yeah, good luck with that. I'm sure a lot of that's still classified. I don't know. What's the objective of this mission? I halfway failed the objective of this mission. We initially started with a compatriot boat, the USS Buffalo, that had lost fire control and sonar. Got damaged in an attack in the previous mission, and we were supposed to escort it to safety, but... Oh yeah, there it is. That's where it started out originally. Got sniped by helixes and or standoff torpedoes. So I'm not going to redo it. Just because this mission takes forever. And I think that's with canon. I'm pretty sure in the book I think that's supposed to be the Providence. And then in the book the protagonist sub is the Chicago. But I'm pretty sure the Providence gets sunk in the book too, so it's with the canon. Nuclear's the best baseload for renewables. How the industry gets some better PR out there. I guess just address people's concerns directly and don't try and skirt around it. I mean, us in the industry, we know they're not generally concerns, but people are concerned about it. There's actually a lot of exciting stuff going on in the States right now with small modular reactors. And their big promise is industrial applications, actually. A lot of factories and industrial operations use fossil fuels just to make heat for their own processes. If they could use like a reactor instead, it'd be fantastic. Just all the heat they want, no emissions or whatever. Doesn't have to be fiddled with for 30 years or something like that. Yeah, I mean, things like 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl didn't help it. I mean, a reactor and or power plant had not been opened since 3 Mile Island in the States. Westinghouse is about to open, or about to finish building 2 of their new AP1000 reactors in South Carolina. Or maybe it's just 1. I think it's 2. And that's like your general pressurized water reactor. 1,000 megawatts electric per reactor or whatever. Another key cell for something like a small modular reactor is a coal power plant. Coal power plant that shuts down, has all the infrastructure. You got turbines, you got generators, everything to make electricity. Just take the coal out, plop the small modular reactors in, and make some electricity. Yeah, Vogtle, however you pronounce that. Any other uses of nuclear? Oh yeah, well, you need like high flux reactors. There's one at like Oak Ridge, or these other kinds of like research reactors that you use to make isotopes for cancer treatments or sterilization, all that kind of stuff. You need to make that in a reactor, and those aren't necessarily power generating reactors. Yeah, how much uranium a coal burning plant puts in the environment. Yeah. Yeah, no, traditionally nuclear reactors in the States were used to match the load of the power grid, but nowadays they're used as like the baseline for the grid, so they just run at 100% power these days. More or less, just like constant level, and then I think the natural gas reactors catch the fluctuation, or not reactors, power plants catch the fluctuations in the load on the grid. Yeah, I think more people die from solar panel and wind power because of falling off of things. And anyone who brings up Chernobyl, like, that's just not how Western reactors are designed or run. And they fixed the problem with the RBMK reactors. There's not been an issue with them since Chernobyl. They fixed the issue.
Come left to course.
I'm getting a little sloppy here, but I think we're pretty much in the clear.
Steady on course 019.
Oh, another good use for nuclear is desalination. Turning salt water into drinkable water. Because the nuclear power plant can just run 24/7, just do whatever is needed to do that desalination, just make salt water into drinking water. I think Saudi Arabia is trying to make reactors for that very purpose. I went to a training course in Oak Ridge 6 or 7 years ago, and There were two Saudi guys there that were like the first guys as part of this program to try and learn some nuclear software for creating their own reactors over there in Saudi Arabia. VVER, yeah, that's just the Russian way to say PWR. VVER just translates to water electric reactor. They differentiate between water moderator and water coolant. Whereas in the States, you just say pressurized water reactor. Nuke has a very high startup cost, yeah. Traditionally, nuclear was... the traditional dichotomy was that nuclear was more expensive at startup, but the fuel was cheaper than fossil fuels, but that has been changed ever since fracking, the fracking boom in natural gas. It's actually cheaper than nuclear all around now. Which is why you go into more stuff like small modular reactors, and even the AP1000 is supposed to be more assembly lined, because every single current power station in the US is custom built. Like, they were just custom built on site, custom design, everything. So no standardization, so you have to redesign each reactor each time you built it or whatever. Oh yeah, I've been to Oak Ridge 3 times. Yeah, it's always cool to go there. Went on the tour of the X-10 reactor. And my grandfather was there in World War II. He was part of the Manhattan Project. Yeah, uranium is actually like one of the few things that people of the public cannot trade on the stock market. So the fluctuations in prices are interesting for that one, because it's not really market driven per se. You can't invest in uranium. Yeah, Westinghouse actually sold their AP1000 design to China. I don't know if that was like to try and avoid them stealing it outright or something. I don't know. But China, a lot of their reactors they're building are AP1000s actually. Who knows if it's up to the same safety standards as per se. Like for loading up spent fuel or particularly spicy nuclear packages in the States, they'll have like a lot of remote operation or underwater operation. I've heard anecdotes that in China you just get 12 guys with torque wrenches to jump on top and tighten the bolts and jump off real quick. 960 guy, hello. Under ice ops, yeah, we're just trying to wrap up this mission here. Oh, full bore time lapse, please.
Come right to course 1.
Alright, if this last sweep doesn't show anything, I'm just gonna frickin' juice it up here.
Steady on course 1, 4, 1.
Underwater working sounds like a pain in the ass. Oh yeah. Yeah, when they reload a reactor, that's all done underwater. I guess they have it set up in a way that you can flood all that. But it takes 2 months to reload a reactor. You do it about every 18 to 24 months. Replace a third of the fuel assemblies, and then the other 2/3 you just kind of move around in the reactor for balancing purposes. Oh yeah, the lid is designed to come off. It's not welded on or anything. I'm talking power reactors, like for a power plant. I'm not sure what it's like with the submarine reactors, if those are welded or not. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's happening? That was some weird lag. That was odd. Okay, well, it seems fine now. I've never seen that before. BWRs, advanced boiling water reactors. I think BWRs are pretty much dead in the States. I'm not sure what the reasons are, but that's what I've heard. More nuclear is in the public domain than you would think, Extra Marco. Anything that goes to the NRC, you can go on their website and find. You can find full licensing documents and safety reports for operating reactors in the States, and you can find packages I've worked on if you know what to search. I'm not sure why BWRs are dead. I'll be curious to look into. The advantage of the BWR is you have one less loop in the whole power cycle thing, so... Excuse me, more efficient. The reactor is directly hooked up to the turbine. Like an RBMK. But that's where the similarities stop. Navy reactors indeed do not have to run at a profit.
Retrieve the starboard towed array. How am I?
Alright, I'm gonna save before we juice it up here. Ready for our final run. Let's get this done.
Make
All
my
ahead
depth
full. How am I?
605 feet. Dive out.
All ahead flank. How am I?
The 3D printable PWR. Oh, the old Babcock and Wilcox. I'm not sure who they got bought by. I don't think it was Westinghouse. I know Combustion Engineering got bought by Westinghouse. Oh yeah, there's so much stuff you can find if you just know where to look. Like everything from modern naval warfare is all public domain. They've shown me some more advanced progress, and it's pretty crazy what they've done. B&W is still independent, huh? Wow. It went bankrupt 5 times. Yeah, it's not surprising. Westinghouse went bankrupt a few years ago. But they're still kicking. Yeah, Westinghouse and B&W are like, they're corporations. They're not geared for, just generally speaking, not geared for, I feel like an SMR is more of like a startup kind of thing. I don't know. Just a big established risk-averse corporation versus a startup. Alright, we're almost done here. Less than 2 minutes to go. Move on to that next mission. Alright, there's a lot of stuff to play as on the next mission. What are we gonna do? There's a... Is there a parry? I know there's an LA. There's a Hilo. Probably a P3. I can't remember if there's a parry in the final mission or not. I think there is. May hop over to the parry. It's been a while. Beat the bobo. Yeah, no, the Department of Energy is just like throwing money at these SMR startups, like X Energy and other ones that I can't remember the name of at the moment. X Energy is just headquartered a few miles down the road from me, basically. It's because the NRC is nearby.
Destination goal complete. Continue with your mission. Mission accomplished. Report for debrief.
Unfortunately, Buffalo was lost.
6, 3.
Alright. Save and exit. Does anyone particularly want to see the replay for this mission? I don't know that there's... Oh, I'm trying to press F5 instead of 5. I don't know that it's gonna be too informative for this mission, but if someone wants to see it, I can work through it. Mission complete.